Death penalty by treason USA. All of it as it really is constitutionally in America. Folks, more than two people get together, according to USA Code, they conspire against any office of the U.S. government to overthrow, declare war, or rebel. And that's what these 6 Congress people did in the United States. Executive orders by President of the United States are only challengeable by the judicial branch. You see, Congress is hamstringed. It's been hamstringed for a long time. Split down the middle, nothing can get done. A pressure relief valve called President of the United States exists to run through executive orders in the limits of the presidential power. When Congress people are frustrated because they can't win the majority they need from the people, and they turn around and tell military personnel to disobey executive orders from the President of the United States, whom is constitutionally head of state, that's sedition. And because they hold office and they're breaching their powers and their branch restrictions of government under constitutional checks and balances, it's treason, especially when they call out the military to do so. Not a very complicated video. These are Congress legislations. There's the 25th Amendment, and there's also the 1792 Treason Act. Again, by Congress, passed by Senate. If Congress wants to change that, they need to make an amendment. They need to pass it in Congress. They only make law. They don't define it, and they absolutely do not usurp the judicial branch of government, aka the lower courts, district courts, the Supreme Court of the state, or the Supreme Court of the United States, final say and authority. They interpret the law, not the 6 Congress people. They make the law, they bounce it to Senate, and they go through President, because President can veto such laws. These are called checks and balances in the United States. The impotency of the Congress of the United States in today's world is not the president's problem, or any president's problem. They have their office, they have their constitutional powers, just as the judicial branch has theirs. Judicial branch can override president when interpreting law. If you don't like a law, as a congressperson, you passed in majority, you swore to, you live under, you need to change it in a majority. If you can't get that done, that's on you. That's on you. And you have breached your oath of office, which is the oath to the American people. And what? The Constitution of the United States of America. All 6 of those Democrat Congress people are guilty of not only sedition, but absolutely treason when they called out the military to disobey head of state's executive orders. When you do that, and you hold office, and you violate the people's constitution and the people of America, you are seditious. And when you called upon the military to disobey, you're treasonous in the United States of America. Folks, there are 2 laws and 1 constitutional amendment that articulate all of this very, very well. And Americans should have enough civics in them to know there are 3 branches of government, what are presidential powers, what are legislative powers, Congress, Senate, and absolutely what are the powers of the judiciary. When one of those branches steps into the power of the other branch, and then calls for the overthrow of another branch, That's violation of the Constitution. Sedition, and when you incorporate the military to go against said powers of any of those branches, you're treasonous. End of story. Undeniable. You won't find a Canadian, American, Oxford, Chinese, Russian, or civil law socialist academic out there in the world to deny what's American law and American constitutional law, the people's law of the United States of America. God bless everybody. That's my video. Very simplified. You can look it all up yourself. Media's trying to pick their acts. Well, this is sedition. Go look up treason, stupid. Go look at all Supreme Court decisions, stupid. Your propaganda, you're lying. You're just like the Canadian media. God bless everybody. That's my very, very well detailed, articulated, honest, as it really is video. And you won't find a constitutional expert anywhere in the world to deny what I've told you. And remember, these are sworn to the people in the Constitution Congress people who are trying to usurp judicial powers and are calling for the military to violate the Constitution and overthrow the executive. That's really what it is. It doesn't get any more black and white than that. All 6 of them are guilty of a serious treasonous felony through sedition. They've broken 3 laws, 3 precedents set in stone by multi-layers of the judicial branch and massive precedent. Can't make it up. Can't deny it. Can't change the American system at will. God bless. Share. Get it out there. Bye now.